Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining me. My name is Caitlin Michelle, and let's talk life and esoterics. I hope you had a really wonderful week. And right now, as I'm speaking to you, we are right in the middle of a new moon, the new moon in Scorpio. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in just a moment. First, just want to get some housekeeping and updates out of the way. So a couple of my friends have brought up platforms for this project, podcast, radio show, whatnot. And I know there have been a number of comments talking about how Blog Talk Radio requires an account to actually leave a written comment publicly. And so I just want to remind you of other ways that you can listen and follow so that you never miss a show. And that would be to subscribe to me or follow me on iTunes, Spotify, even YouTube. I have a YouTube page that my shows are automatically pushed out onto. And you just search on YouTube the Hello Life and Esoterics with Caitlin Michelle, and you should find that, and the same deal with Facebook. That all being said, I am also beginning to look into other options to allow commenting to be easier. But in the meantime, if you would like to reach me directly, you can certainly email me at hellolife_and, that's AND, esoterics@gmail.com. And let's see, some other housekeeping updates. I have actually had people ask me about how my experiment with avoiding garlic and onions has been going. And, I think for a good few weeks, I avoided both at probably a 99% level. And I realized just, all the recipes that are my go-to recipes and even ingredients and such. Garlic and onion are these ingredients that are in everything. That being said, I'm still avoiding them for the most part, though I'm at a lower level than that 99% level. So while I'm not cooking with garlic or onions, there are some things that have them as ingredients in them that I'm no longer avoiding. For example, I like to cook with something called yandu sauce quite a bit because it gives a very savory flavor. And I believe that has some garlic essence in there. So, okay, truth be told, for my experience, though, with avoiding garlic and onion, so while it wasn't 100% avoidance, I did, I gave it the old college try, I guess is the expression. I was serious about it, and did as best as I could to avoid it for quite a while. And I'm not sure that I saw as big of a difference as I was expecting in terms of my cognitive functioning and, most importantly for me, in my dreams. Part of it was trying to alleviate some of the more unpleasant dreams that I tend to experience. So I'm not entirely convinced of avoiding garlic and onion for that reason necessarily. However, I have realized when I have eaten something that's garlic rich or onion rich, I do kind of feel a lot tenser, and my emotions do feel a little bit more keyed up, and it's on a more subtle level. But it's really the effect that I've seen has been more when it's added back in rather than just avoiding it altogether, because I haven't really noticed a big difference in just avoiding it altogether. That being said, I am still, as I said before, I am still avoiding both garlic and onion. I'm not trying to eat either of them overtly, but if they happen to be an ingredient in something that I'm cooking with, or if I'm out and they just happen to be an ingredient in something, I will consume them that way. And the other update I have, the other experiment that I talked about, I don't even know how many episodes back at this point, but was breakfasting like a king or queen. Basically flipping my food schedules on its head, where as a family we eat our biggest meal for breakfast and our smallest meal for dinner. And this was another thing that was also supposed to help with alleviating more unpleasant dreams. And Nick and I talked about this a couple weeks ago, and we weren't convinced that we were seeing any big differences other than the fact that we feel more satiated in the afternoon. So at that time when we talked about it, we had actually decided that, okay, we're not going to really continue this. But I realized that subconsciously we've actually continued it. So maybe there's something there. But I would say that both of these experiments were kind of not quite duds, because as a family, we're actually sticking with both things. Maybe it's because they've become habits, but I don't know, maybe I was expecting to be hit over the head with massive changes. And they've just appeared to be a lot more subtle. So anyway, those are the updates for those experiments. Okay. So this is not really an update, but this is an explanation as to why I'm coming a day late this week. And it's quite funny. Yesterday, because I had a plan of what I wanted to talk about, and I had designated time, and yet opportunities arose, and each opportunity just kept pushing back on those plans, what I'm going to talk about and when. And so I decided to surrender and go with the flow. I figured, okay, after my son falls asleep, I will just record late at night and post it. And that's okay. It's same day. Okay. Well, that didn't end up working out. And then I figured this morning, I'd be able to get it out. Well, that also didn't end up working out. Not only did my son not take a nap, so I had no opportunity to use that time to do anything, but I was also trying to handle a transaction that is closing in the next few days. There are a couple things that I really needed to get done, and so that, amidst also parenting and cleaning full time, and I don't need to get into specifics, but other projects that I'm doing also, it's just very hard to do a million things at once. And so all of these balls in the air, I needed to remind myself, what are the glass balls that shatter when they fall? And what are the balls that will bounce back up? And my son was having a hard time today. As I said, he didn't sleep. He has another tooth coming through, and he was having a hard time with some big emotions. And that is my relationship with him, my parenting of him. That's a glass ball that I protect and value. I will not let that shatter. So that was where I needed to put my focus today. However, that did, both yesterday and today, the way everything just ended up flowing and falling out, I actually had several soul-nourishing and fresh conversations with different people, mostly yesterday, actually, and then today was more like integration of those conversations and totally drastically changing what I was going to talk about this week. But yeah, there's just been a whole bunch of sparks and synchronicities galore. So one of the many themes that arose yesterday in my conversations was around action versus inaction, but really more specifically and accurately put, push versus rest, and the truth inherent in the unfolding of time, like during rest periods. So I think I really just have to laugh at myself here because, I mean, what else can I do, really? But here I am talking about natural cycles like those charted in numerology and astrology, and then also referring to my current, albeit probably imperfect, understanding of dimensions and how the 9th dimension, like the highest dimension we as embodied humans are capable of perceiving and connecting into, is the dimension of cosmic time. And yet I find myself trying to push to change, to transform, to manifest on my own timing, using my own energy. And even though I also refer to all my benevolent allies, like spirit guides and master teachers, angels and archangels, spirit and the divine, I still act as though I have to be the one planning and coordinating and putting into action everything that needs to be done here in this 3rd dimensional realm of ours. So, I mean, it is just too funny that I have this idiosyncrasy, but I'm so grateful for my dear friend pointing this out to me. And I also love how she phrased this, how there are times, like now, in which we are supposed to marinate or rest, but I love that word marinate because it feels so sumptuous and Epicurean. Anyway, she's right. Even when we are resting or marinating, there are still so many things happening that create these vibrational impacts on each of us as individuals. It really is only when we surrender a bit that we allow these to take form in their most benevolent forms intended for us. So here's just another reminder to trust the cycles. And, I'm definitely speaking to myself here. But you know what? This dovetails so perfectly in what's happening astrologically this month. And I mean, I know you can get astrological forecasts from so many other sources, people way more qualified than I am to talk about astrology, since I'm a professional numerologist. But I'll just give like a basic rundown. So today, November 4th, is a new moon. It's the new moon in Scorpio. And all new moons are great for intention setting and planting seeds. Being The